hook, right? A staff. So what did a shepherd use a staff for? To guide, to separate, to move, to drove, to control. Yes. See, I was like drove. Yeah. Control, to guide, to chastise. I had a karate teacher for a basketball coach, and he literally came out there with his little pop stick to basketball practice. He wasn't kidding. But why? There is a part of discipline that requires pain. When you work out, your muscles get sore. Why? The pain also is showing you that your body's creating muscle memory. You're working these muscles and you're telling them, I want you to be tight. I want you to be like this. Well, they have to get used to being constricted and tight so that you can,
They're tearing so that it can be built.
They're tearing so they can be built back up. So shepherding does not start off as, it's not an easy task, especially every time a new sheep comes into the fold, there is a form of shepherding happening on multiple levels. The shepherd is shepherding all the sheep, but then the sheep that are in the fold have to have submitted enough to the shepherd to show the younger sheep how to operate as sheep. So I have goats, right? There is a thing where you can buy bottle-fed goats, where you buy them literally as soon as they're born, you feed them, and they're like your babies. A lot of people who are reputable, I wouldn't say that they're unreputable, but people who want goats and not babies, if you want goats to have goat behavior, what they recommend is that you leave the goat with its mother and with the group of goats as long as possible, so the goat learns how to be a goat. So the sheep learns how to be a sheep. So the dog learns how to be a dog. A lot of what happens when we get animals is that they have learned human behaviors. And so like people always complain about goats being loud. My goats make noise, but not really, because from the time they got to my house, they left from their mom to outside, and I come out there, I feed them, and we pet them, but we allow them to be goats. And so a lot of the time in this walk, the reason why people come into the fold and then don't have proper reverence for the Father or don't know how to be proper Torah keepers is because we set bad examples. Not necessarily because of us doing things wrong, it's that we have a hard time actually being sheep. We want to be shepherds too. No, we're sheep. We're all sheep, right? And some sheep do sheeping better than other sheep. But for the most part, we're all sheep. And I think that gets misconstrued. So then you have people who will begin to follow sheep, right? Instead of following the sheep that's following the shepherd. Right? That was Shaul's whole point. Follow me as I follow Hamashiach. Right? If we kept that mentality and stopped looking for shepherds and looked for sheep who have gotten good at being sheep, then those sheep will lead us in the direction of the shepherd because they're following the shepherd. Make sense? So that's what the llama is. It's also a weapon too, because it would be used to fight off predators and enemies. I mean, they got good with those staffs. You see it a lot in Asian culture. Asian culture, if you take out the pagan things, it's very, very closely related to the Hebrew culture. When you talk about spirituality and other things, and especially that fighting style, martial arts was taken from Hebrew culture. And so you see that where they have that stick and they're flipping it and they can move it. And now you're seeing even young Hebrews get into what? Like hayah, right? Life. Yeah. Like it literally, it's hayah. Right. Yes. Chi. Right. The languages and characters. It's Hebrew. Yeah, the characters are Hebraic characters. So you have a lot of that. So looking at, we are literally like playing the Hansel and Gretel game where there's like breadcrumbs everywhere and you're trying to get them all back to one place. But if you see how they use their shepherd staff and they use it, where a lot of them, you would think they're just old men, right, in the movies, they're just walking. It's like fresh, and then somebody tries to ambush him and he turns to it, he's like, right? That's that picture.
Support.
It's a support. It supports in a bunch of ways. Yes. Okay. Next one. That was Lamed. Next one is, no, we have Mem. Mem is next. Yes. Okay, we have Mem, and it's like this wavy thing. What is that?
Water.
Water. What does water do? moves, it flows. It can be chaotic. If there's too much water, it can raid and it can destroy. Quench, you said? It cleanses. Right? Even in storms, right? I mean, we hate storms. We hate flooding. But what happens when things flood? Right? It purifies everything. It washes away things. It shows you where you probably shouldn't have built your house. Like all that. It's like, no, this area, like we were driving by looking at the bayous. Yeah, it'll beat you into submission. This is so true thing. Those truck stop showers are a thing. What about the water showers? What happened? Who did it? You want to talk? Okay, what do you want to say?
Yeah, calm down.
Okay. And then they didn't listen?
What's he did?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go online, have a whole conversation.
So, water, she said water will beat you to submission. So we're talking about the truck stop showers, right? Water pressure, that's right. Look, I am so on these truck stop showers. If it has enough pressure, it literally relaxes your body. It literally, if you get a shower and it's hot and it has the right amount of pressure, it'll beat your body to submission. I'm just like, I'm relaxed, right? I'm in this place of, okay, surrender almost to all the day and everything else is washed away. I'm in this place. Water does that. If you've ever gone to the ocean and if you just sit on the edge and those waves come in, and they come back out and they beat against you and they move you around in that motion, it's easier to go with the flow of the water than to try and resist it, right? And one of the, I don't know if you guys have ever surfed or boogie boarded or been wiped out by a wave. It happened to me last year. We were boogie boarding and a really big wave came, and I'd never had that happen to me before ever. Right. And the wave literally came over and it drug me and hit me down to the bottom. Literally we had bruises, but it was bad. But it was no point in resisting. I had to wait for the wave to pass. Right. And a lot of times with water, when we experience water in scripture, the same way, there was no fighting against what was going to happen with the flood. There was preparation. There's being in the right place and writing it out.
And we overlook the strength of water.
Oh, water is strong. I was a lifeguard. I know that's funny. I was that one black lifeguard. But I was a lifeguard, and I have a very healthy fear of water. And one of the things I always thought in my mind was, I can't drink all of this. And when I get tired, because water, there's resistance when you're swimming, I have to yield to the power of this water. And so, when you look at blood and the motion and other things, what's in us as Hebrews is dam, it's blood, and it has this in it. You have to yield to who you are.
That's right.
That's part of this walk. Yes. The reason why we end up in the chaotic side of it is because everything is a positive and a negative charge. The reason why until you started doing this, felt like I was just probably spinning out of control is because you were resisting.
Yes.
The blood and the water flows in the direction of the Father. Going against current is hard work. Going against who you are, trying to be what you're not, is hard work. Every time somebody puts something in front of you that's not you, not for you, it's hard work. And so when we when we understand who we are, and we allow who we are to take over, if you will, it flows. It feels right? It feels good because that thing that's driving who you are is literally the thing that controls your very life force. It's life. It's life. The blood in your body is life. Life is in the blood, right?
Why primarily our body
Yes,
made up of more water and
yes, and we are.
Be water.
Be water. Be water. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say something quietly, but for Ema, I always was wondering why it uses mem in it. Because I was just like, water. Whenever I was going through it, and I was saying the leader of water, and then I said the leader of
blood.
blood, and my husband looked at me, he was like, I don't think you meant it like that, but where my head went, I was just like, but it's very literal, and maybe that is what it means, you know. And it wasn't until you came back and said it's actually, you know, whenever they used to boil the hide, and then they took off the thing off the top, and it was like the glue, and I was like, oh, that's a better definition.
Right, but it's still that same thing because fat, all those things come from like the internal part of the body.
Yeah.
Right, so it's literally taken from the body.
Yeah.
Literally everything that your children are is literally taken from you. I look at them and I'm like, have you ever seen a 3D printer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how like you put the whatever in and then it like takes it like that's what's happening. Like your womb is like a 3D printer. And it's literally printing a whole human using the nutrients from your body. Like it's mind blowing. But that's that thing where I'm taking literally everything but your blood as a woman, literally, and making that child. So yeah. So water. So when you see water now, water, you've seen water, you've experienced it. It can quench your thirst, right? The wrong kind of water. If you drink salt water, it'll kill you, right? So discernment is necessary when dealing with water, just like any other of these letters. All those things are taken into consideration. Okay, next one is noon. This is one of my favorite. I think I probably say this every single time because it's the nerdy science part. Noon. What is a noon?
A seed.
A seed. And what does a seed do?
Continue. Life.
Life continues. What else?
Sun,
Air, right? So seed is literally life. Everything that has life must have seed. So I tell the seed things with seeds in them. Because then you know it has a life. Right? It's passing on a life. It's growing, it's regenerating. It's alive. Like literally it's alive. Those things that are alive will also keep you alive. Things that are dead will begin to kill you. Just the reality of it all. Right? So the reason why I like this particular letter, and especially the pictograph, is because if you've ever sprouted seeds, if you haven't, I challenge you to go home and literally let's record that. If we can, do you have any seeds? You have seeds here? Okay, well I'll show you how to do it. We'll show you how to do it here. We did it with the kids. You take a Ziploc bag and a paper towel.
Yep.
And then you can put 3, I use corn, beans, a watermelon seed, and like a green bean or something. And you staple them where the seed sits on the staple. And we make germination bags. And you can actually watch this happen. You wet the paper towel, you put it in sunlight. I actually take mine to a window, and the life will actually come out. The cooler part of it is, if you can do this, actually I'm a magnifying glass in the trailer. If you can cut a seed open and actually see what's inside. I had never done it before, even as an adult, and I didn't realize that the life inside of it looks dead. Even when you cut it open, you're expecting to find like a tiny green plant inside. No, it's white, and it literally you can't even see it really. And then when you wet it, that thing comes out with a force. Like it's and it happens in a couple of days. Like I think ours took like 5 days for that thing to come out. And that is a picture of a life, huh?
And it has breath.
And it literally watching it stretch and then make new shoots like every day. You can actually time lapse camera. It's actually so cool. But that is what life is. Where what we are as a people, especially as a people who are in the land of our captivity, we were like seeds. And until you put seeds into soil and you add water to it, then it's not going to do anything. You can sit a seed on a table for hundreds and hundreds of years, and it'll never come out of its shell. As soon as you put it in the right climate, in the right environment, it will do what it's always been meant to do. So this seed is a picture of what it looks like when the plant comes out of a shell, out of its seed coat, but it's also what sperm looks like. So you get a double view of what a seed is. So our ancestors understood that man had seed and that plants had seed. And there was no difference in how that thing reproduced or how it looked when it happened. You were creating and extending life in generations. Okay, next one. Summit. This one, I might even change the definition on this one. It has obviously to hold. Okay, well let's go back to it. So what is a summit?
thorn.
A thorn, okay. And what is the function of a thorn?
To prick, to hurt,
to
catch your
attention, to cause you to turn.
Irritation.
It's an irritation. When we put together this chart, we use just a regular basic chart, and after using the Hebrew words enough in this letter enough, it's definitely a thorn, and it's definitely not a prop. Because a prop is like something that props you up and supports you. Now, a corral of thorns, right, would protect the sheep.
Right.
Because those thorns are huge, right? If you make a corral of thorns, then animals have like lions and cat-like animals, dogs, and other things have padding on their paws, and so they don't like to be pricked either. Remember Aesop's fable with the lion and the mouse, right? It's that thing of like this big animal was completely incapacitated because of this little thorn that was in his hand, his paw. And so the same thing where Shaul talks about this thorn is flesh, this prick. And we always think of it as a negative, but until you understand what a sophic is, it's something that kept him turned and fastened toward Yah. All of us have one of these. Get to know yours. Get to know it intimately, because it's the very thing that'll keep you from walking into sin when it approaches you. Know what the thing is, where you've been, and the thing that the grace that Yah has allowed for you to be here at this moment. Be very intimate with that, because when you think about doing these Yah no visits, you're gonna be like, ooh, but when I was doing that, you still woke me, you still dealt with me, I'm not gonna do this. Acquaint it with your thorn. It's the thing that causes you to turn. It turns your head. So right here it says, hold, protect, prop, support. I would lean much closer to thorn, prick, hurt, turn your head. Because when you think about the function of a thorn, I have goat heads, you guys, we call them out here. Stick-a-bugs, right? Those things, you know the function of that. What it does, it'll make you literally, it'll remind you, everything unclean is going to come out at that moment. And your foot is so light that you don't even step on it all the way. It's just barely. So, because the function of it is to, and I can see where support would come, because it would, your thorn literally supports you on your walk. And it causes you to walk lighter, and it stops you when you begin to tread heavily into areas you have no business. Right? Okay.
Man.
Next one. Man. What's that? Iron. What's an iron? Eye. What do eyes do? See, experience, sight. Right? So immediately you know that your eye. But an eye is not a passive experience. No. An eye is an active experience. What you see with your eyes goes into your body. You cannot say, I beg to differ, we'd have to argue it out, that you can see something and it not affect you. You can't. It literally goes into every area of your body. If you see something scary, it will activate sensors in your brain, and your body will respond to fear. Even if it's just in a movie, right? If you see something debased, your body responds. Your eyes literally tell your brain what signals to send off and how to experience those things. Okay? So the eye is a very, very, very important gate to the Hebrew people.
Yes.
So the idea, anytime you see a word with an ayin in it, it's literally showing you an experience of something. Like Shema, right? Shem is name, fame, what something is done.
Right.
Ayin is experience. When you obey, you experience Yah's fame. He does not ask you to obey before he showed you his fame. The very fact that he's woken you up, he showed you his fame enough. He's given you enough reason to obey him. Right?
Identifier.
Right? It's an identifier. So now, keep watching me. If you keep watching my fame, then guess what? You will keep experiencing me, and you'll experience greatness through your obedience. That's why there's all those blessings. He's like, oh my goodness, if you only knew what obeying me would give to you as a people. Okay, next one. Pay. Pay or fay can be pronounced either way, because your mouth has the ability to make a sound, depending on which one, where it sits in the word. Like we spell phone, right? PH. But you say F, but it's with a P. If you spell it, you're gonna say P and not say like I did the other day. F-O-N-E. I spell phone. F-O-O-N-E. P-H-O-N-E. So it's a mouth. What does your mouth do?
Speak.
Eat.
Curse or bless.
Curse or bless. Right?
Yes.
Crush. Right? It blows. Your mouth, when we talk, like we're pushing out air. Like when I'm talking, I am like literally using my diaphragm. There is wind that is vibrating here in this area, and it's making sound and words come out. If you ever known of people who have had vocal issues or you lose your voice, it's because this is constricted or it's tired, and it's not allowing the wind to cause the proper vibrations to happen for words to come out. So your mouth, though, because I can just my lips are actually the thing that's forming and allowing words to come out. Your mouth is a creator. Anything that forms and pushes things out is creating something. That's why life and death is in the tongue. You create when you speak, right? You are creating as you speak. I'm creating a reality. I'm creating thoughts in your head. I'm literally speaking through your ears to your brain and giving you a picture, right? The mouth is very, very powerful. How you use it is very, very important. I'm learning that every day, and that is something that I'm putting in practice all the time. Like I'm like literally constantly repenting of things that come out of my mouth, even just not if they're not bad, just because I'm not commanding my mouth as much as I should. When I speak, I want to be able to speak directly. I want to speak clearly and concretely, and I want to speak in a way that builds and not destroys. I don't want to speak empty words. I need to save my words for when I need to use them for the Father. And I don't want to just speak words just because I just want to talk for the sake of talking. Right? So, guarding this, because out of it, what does it say? Life. Literally, like life. The rivers of life. The abundance and it also talks about out of the heart, like out of the mouth is what's in your heart. What you speak out of your mouth is what's in your heart. So every time you open up your mouth, something comes out that's not edifying, like ever, or if it's all like that needs to be bare before you so we can fix that thing. What comes out? What are the things? Do they grow? If they don't, then we have to weed it out. Weed seeds. Weed seeds. Our communication is one of the most powerful things we have. We are the only creatures on the planet, creation on the planet that communicates this way. Everything communicates, but we have the ability to communicate in a way that literally changes the way the whole world sees things. There have been people who have spoken and who have written and who have put things into words that can be spoken that have literally changed the trajectory of the whole world. And so knowing that that's a power, we have to be better stewards over that power. Right? Okay. Sadi. What is that?
Man on his side.
It's a man on his side. Okay.
I like the fetal position.
It does look like a fetal position. Crawling. Very good. I like that. Because what happens when you're in a fetal position?
You're hurting.
You're hurting. You're pushed down. But what do you need? When comfort. Comfort. You're desiring something. Right? Have you ever seen those like old '90s videos where everybody's like, girl, you're right. And it's like this. What is this thing? What is It's that idea of like it's something deep down that's causing me to almost like turn it in, right? So Zani, which is a man on his side, or a man, it's literally even more specifically a man crouching and waiting. So he's not just on his side like we would think like laying down like this, but he's actually watching something. I've gotten so low to the ground and I'm watching and looking for something to meet a need. Okay, so it's the best picture is idea of righteousness, right? I am chasing after Yah's righteousness. I'm going and pursuing something. This is actually a picture of a hunter. A hunter is trying to hunt down something that's going to sustain and keep him alive. Right. In our culture, and in a lot of, especially in a lot of Native American culture and others, but specifically Native American culture, they didn't hunt something just nobody did it, probably except for a lot of our Wasichu people. I'll explain to you what a Wasichu is later. The Wasichu people hunt things for fun, right? But
so we know who they are.
they hunt things for fun. But that wasn't the base nature of hunting. Even Yah said if you found blood spilled on the ground, that was it. You were in trouble. Yeah. Even when you kill something, you cover the blood. Why? Because blood is sacred. So you don't kill just to kill. When you eat it all. You don't take something and waste. You don't kill an animal and not. You're not saying, oh, I'm going to pray to this animal, but something is giving up a life.
Yeah.
So you respect life. Anytime blood is shed, you respect life, whether it's animal or man.
Right. That's right.
And literally, it also tells you if you shed blood, that life is required of you. Masterful over the Hebrew language. The reason why people don't understand, Shaul is another one, I'll repeat it, who is masterful, why a lot of people don't understand his writings, is because they don't understand the Hebrew characters. Where he talks about, so it's the idea of hunting. It's Jeremiah said, you tricked me, you seduced me, you trapped me in a snare. Why? Because your righteousness has now taken hold of my heart, right? And now when I don't want to do it, and I don't want to say it, I have to. He's like, it's like a fire shoved in my bones. It's a desire to do your will over my own. So this idea of a hunter, Yah can be the hunter sometimes. Yah talks about gathering his people. Yes. Well, he didn't have to hunt them down, he knows where they are. Yeah. But it is a process of literally sometimes laying a trap for you. One of my favorite Nina Simone quotes, she's actually doing a video, but it's cool. She says she wants to get the people to understand their blackness, the excellence of who they are. And she says this line, she goes, by hook or crook, right? And I thought that was just so like even if I gotta trick you into liking who you are by finding somebody who likes who they are that you like so that you like who you are. That very thing. It's literally that pursuit, that desire, that want for life. That's what a hunter is. A hunter hunts for life. Okay, next one. Kof. What is that?
Sunrise.
Sunrise. And if you can you erase the bottom part of it just so we can see what it looks like, but it doesn't have the little bottom circle. What it also shows before you erase it though is that when the sun goes down, it doesn't disappear. So if that's the horizon, the sun goes beyond the horizon. It's not gone, it's just somewhere else. It's moving into another space. You don't see it anymore, but that sun's still there. Our ancestors understood that. They were real good. No, not the line, just the bottom circle part. Yeah, and now if you just half, or just draw the top of the circle over there. Perfect. So that's what we often see, right?
Yeah.
When we see the sun on the horizon or sunset. And it shows you that obviously the sun doesn't disappear. So what you would have seen by experience over and over again, seeing the sun go down and then it coming back, was that it's not gone, right? It's just gone beyond where I can see it. That's what death is in the Hebrew. It's not gone. It's just beyond where I can see it now.
Right.
Right? That understanding. Okay, what is another picture of a sun on the horizon or a sunset or a sunrise? Maybe look that way from sunrise too. So is it time? Time, for sure. What else? Circle, right? The idea of to condense. So the sun, when the sun's out in the daytime, you can't look at it. It's like you can't. It's up there. You're trying. Your eyes get these little spots in them when you look down. But when the sun gets on the horizon, all the light condenses into one space, and then it's visible. All right. That's that picture of beyond, where the Hebrews older people say, you'll understand it better, literally by and by. When you get to that place where everything condenses, everything will make sense. So the Hebrew didn't worry about those things that were kof, or beyond, or olam, or beyond me. I'll understand when I get there. Right now, I have to focus on right now. A lot of things that we do currently in our Hebrew walk are very beyond thinking. Like, do the right now. Like, a kid is not sitting around saying, okay, my mom asked me to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and they're not like, well, what's the schedule for today? And is it this? It's like you do it because you're being told to do that in that moment.
Right.
And by doing it, then you can work out if it works or not. We are spending a lot of time adulting and worrying about things that are beyond.
Right.
What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? And I tell you all the time, and how does that affect your Torah keeping? That is like the basis for everything, because there will come a time when everything condenses and everything makes sense. But some things you just have to walk them out. This is practice. A lot of people, and I'm guilty of this as well, we're fearful of Yah because we have very limited experiences with him as our father. And so we feel like, if we don't do it like this, he's going to kill us. If we don't do it like this, he's gonna, I'm like, whoa, you missed the heart of the Father. You're that guy with the talent who buried his talent.
Right.
And then he said, depart from me because you're wicked. Because this is a practice ground. You have to work out your salvation. So this idea of being fearful and being stagnant on his word instead of trying it out, like he said, I would have rather you put in a bank and got interest. Literally, at least you can say, I tried with my whole heart. Instead of I kept back from doing it because I was afraid that you were such a terrible master that you were going to kill me. We do that a lot in this walk where people are like, well, I got to get this right. So if I'm like, you spent 30 years working on a calendar and you are a hellion. I'm just being honest. You worked that out, right? And then he's like, but the weightier things you left undone.
That's right.
Like, instead of literally, if you would have started keeping the feast days, and then you would have been like, oh, this not gonna work on this calendar because it's winter, and I'm supposed to be keeping it in the spring, you would have negated it all. But you're like, I can't keep it until I figure out what this calendar is. That's a very adult way of thinking about something. A kid wouldn't do that. A kid, if you told a kid, hey, I have a party for you, I can't come to the party, Mom, until I figure out exactly what you have at the party. It's not like I'm not gonna show up until you tell me if it's not 6:31 and it's 6:30, then that party can't happen because you told me. It's like if you don't take, you know what, you don't get a party. The Father is like, are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? Do. And in doing, you will learn. I will correct. That picture of that, what Torah is, which is a person drawing a bow and aiming at a target, right? If I'm shooting and I'm aiming at the target with my whole heart, the Father is, as a good father, going to interject and say, this is how you do that. This is how you do that. But if I'm turning, I'm shooting this way, there's nothing.
You're not even trying to hit the mark.
You're not even trying to hit the mark at all. And so the idea of things that are beyond is like, it's interesting, as those things get to that condensed period, we're trying to get to a place where we get so good at keeping the regular parts of Torah that when things condense, we can see them clearly.
That vision is
Our vision gets good.
Right. Yeah.
Hebrews were not worried about the afterlife. There's very little in Scripture about life after death.
right.
Why? Because one, hell didn't have nothing to do with me because I was going to walk with Yah. For the Hebrews.
Yeah.
So what I'm worrying about right now getting it right. Because once time ends and time condenses, there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do to fix anything that I've done right or wrong once time condenses and I move to that beyond period. So I have to work out everything right now today. Right now today. And when you think about this walk like that, what are the things that need to be fixed right now today? Your heart. That's a right now today situation. That is the thing that's weighed in the balance at the end. So all the other stuff, yeah, work that out with fear and trembling too, but everything you do, make sure that it hits that place. Okay, next one. Resh. What is that?
A
Man. What part of the man is it? So we got the man's foot, we got a man's hand, we got literally every part of man. Right? That's what we are. That's a head. What does that head do? Turns. What else is it do for the rest of your body? It controls. Right? Where is it at? Is it the head at the bottom or the top? Okay. Is the head the first thing you look at a person or the last thing you look at? The first thing you look at a person. So it's the leader, the chief. It's that chief thing. Why? If something can control your head, it can control your whole body. Yah wants control. When he says, I want control of your heart, he's like, oh, the thing that beats, I put the thing. I'm in control of that. If I literally just tell the air to stop, if I tell oxygen to stop going in your body, that'll stop bleeding. That's easy money. I want you to give me this. I want head space. I want all that space. And oftentimes we don't give Yah head space, and we give everybody else rental space in our head. Right? Everybody else is guiding our thoughts. We worry about it. Everybody else is going to think it. Everybody else is going to do what everybody. He's like, no, I want that space. I want you to care what I think as much as what you care about what everybody else thinks. Literally. Like when we walk, and we all do, especially as women, we walk in a space and we're literally trying to think about what everybody else is thinking. So they make ourselves crazy. Is she upset? Is she having a good day? Is she hungry? Did they get up chicken? Is she going from the bathroom? Is the bathroom clean? Somebody in the bathroom? And we do this like, we're so preoccupied with everything else. And Yah's like, man, Yah is saying, if you were just preoccupied with me, the way you're preoccupied with the things of the world, what a better place your head would be. Not even your whole life, just your head. Your head space. How you view and see everything. So the head of the minute thinks it controls, it's the leader, right? And if you can get the head, if the neck is not too stiff, right? And you can get the head into submission, you get the body to do anything. You know, a lot of things that people do that are like supernatural, it's all here. Who told, nobody told my majority couldn't fly, right? That's flying if it was not ever flying. When you can jump and stay in the air, you literally like have jetpacks like happening in your, right? So the Mashiach makes a very, very wonderful statement. He says, oh, all these things I've done, y'all can all do them. You just have to be obedient. And it's funny because, I mean, I'm guilty and I think we all are. We've never tried. No. We're like, I can't be that obedient. Right? We've never tried. The disciples were not Mashiach, and they did great works. They healed and did things. When are we going to get to a point where we give Yah the amount of control in our headspace where we can actually do the things that we're really actually called to do? Because I've glimpses, like, for instance, like, writing is a very, very mentally strenuous thing. It takes you to have to go into a very special place in your head, and it's a hard place to get to, especially if you get out of it. But being in that place, I remember being in the zone and writing hidden in plain sight. I remember, like, it was the best feeling ever. It was just like everything flowed, but I wasn't in control. So that needed to be done in that time. And just saying, okay, whatever it takes. I remember writing in the car. I could write anywhere. Like, it didn't matter who I was around, what I was doing. It was like, it was happening. And so imagine that, and that's very small in the scheme of what Yah can actually do in a larger place. But what happens when we actually start to be able to function our gifts and abilities? We all have them. And they're literally lying dormant like a seed on a table because Yah's like, oh, I'm not going to let that gift manifest until I'm in control of you. If it's healing, I'm not going to let it manifest until I'm in control. Because see, you want to heal people, you want to heal. And I'm going to be the one to tell you who to heal. Right? If it's talking, you don't want to talk to people who you want to talk to. You don't want to shut up and not talk to people I don't want you to talk to. Because some people, I don't want to hear what I want. Like he was saying, some people it's not for them. And you'll waste your breath and your gift trying to talk to people who you want to talk to and not people that Yah wants you to talk to. That was a lesson I had to learn very early. It's a hard lesson. Yah made me come into the place I had to verbally say it. It's not about who I want to wake up. If I chose, I would choose on who I love. I personally know and love. Yeah, I was like, you're not gonna waste my breath, not my breath, but his breath. So if I'm gonna give you a voice, I'm gonna tell you to talk. You're gonna talk to who I tell you to talk to. Period. And when I tell you to stop, you stop. When it's over, it's over. And I'm like probably, the worst person. I probably now more than ever to have like a laborious conversation with. I'm just like, I'm over it. Like it's just done. I'm not. Why? I don't see the fruit in it. And we're just like laboring. We're just laboring, and I won't. And it's probably helped our relationship a lot. Where I'm just like, I'll just get you out of it. Okay. Whatever it is, wherever we are at the time where y'all just like shut your mouth and like, okay. And then just whatever. Me and my mom go rounds and rounds about that too. She's like, well, this happened and this, and I'm like, maybe they're just traumatized. And I just like literally sum everything up like that. But I don't. I'm just like, I can't do that. Like, I just absolutely cannot. So being in a position for Yah to control your thoughts so that he can control everything about who you are. So that he can use you. If he can't control this head, then he's not going to use you. Because believe me, it's way too, power corrupts. Position corrupts. And so if he's not even in control, and if he's not the head of your head, then you're going to lead to a place of destruction, and Yah does not want any of us to be destroyed, so I just won't allow you to have it. I won't allow you to do it. Next one.
I don't want to reprobate mind.
Right. You don't want to give it over. Just absolutely. Shin, what are those?
Teeth.
Everybody rub your tongue across those two front teeth. Mm-hmm. See how it feels just like that? Mine got a little gap. But, but those are your two front teeth. Okay, we're women in here. There are also two other things. Look at them. Can you round off the bottom of those guys? Yep. That's exactly what it is. So what happened with the Western culture is the Western culture has become very, very Victorian, right? Where it only gives you things one way because that's too vulgar for them. For our culture, it's not. If you look at our, like, I wish this culture had less of an affinity for this area. Right. I really do. It's just like, come on.
It's like,
it's a thing. So shin. Shin means it's two front teeth. It's also breast, two danglers. You see that? And what are they used for? Exact same thing. Two front teeth and breast. Eat, consume, right? If you've ever had a baby, they have destroyed your body. No. The teeth are more for destroy, but literally to suck the nutrient out of something so that something else can live and sustain. To nurture. Right? It's a place, there's a word for fire, for passion. Breasts are the picture of passion in scripture. It literally there's a verse that says, and be ravished with her breast. That's definitely the thing. So, literally, shin is teeth, right? To eat, consume, destroy, to add nutrients. But there's different stages of consumption. And that's why this word can be used like that. Breasts are for babes. Right. Teeth are for children that can eat.
Don't look at me.
You're bad. So yeah, I literally lost my train of thought because you have problems.
I didn't do that.
So Shin was that picture of that. So, but it's a separator. What? You don't let anybody nurse on you. Like you don't just like, hey, your baby's nursing.
Here you go.
No, why? You nurse at the place that's for you. And so that's why that can be used as a separator. When all the babies are playing, when all the babies go back home to get nursed, they go to their parents. Now, obviously, during slavery time, we had wet nurses where everybody was nursing everybody because there was a fracturing of a system. But the nurturing was done by that child's mother. I can prove it. When it came time to nurse a child, right? Yah orchestrated it that Moshe didn't get a wet nurse. He got his mom as his wet nurse. Right? There was something specific in that mother and that connection between that mother and that child that was necessary to sustain, to put in, to add nutrient to that child. Because nursing is not just it's not just the breast, it's literally the connection. You talk to that baby. That there's a place of comfort and refuge. And so one of the words that's used in scripture is El Shaddai, right? And that deals with Yah being Abraham's sustainer. He knew Yah as, literally means like the many-breasted one. But it meant that literally from you, I am literally sustained.
That's why that Baphomet has that.
Yes.
Wait, say that again.
So that's why the Baphomet has a picture with boobs.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a thing throughout culture, but it literally comes from literally Yah being the sustainer.
Yeah.
I am the one, you're literally, when we rely on Yah, and He is the one who is doing the separating us to Him, right? separating everyone else from him.
Right.
When he brings us in, because that's what happens when you get ready to nurse and you get ready to deal with your children, all y'all go home. I'm dealing with these right here, right? When he brings us in, he's literally saying, if you come to me and let me nourish you with my word and with my breath, then you will literally be sustained and literally you will be living off of me. What's in me will be going into you. Right? Okay, last one. Tav. Tav is mark, sign, covenant. Can you draw it for me like just like an X? Two? Like not like an X as well. No, but the interesting thing is when
That's
you
what it is.
it's like it's a crossbeam.
Right.
So it's funny that in Christianity, right, they use a cross as a symbol of as like salvation, right? And they picture salvation as like the end mark.
Right.
But for the Hebraic mind, once you arrive at the place of like the mark, that's where everything begins. Right? If you go on a treasure hunt, part of that was a journey. But when I get to the place where X marks the spot and I find what I'm looking for, that's when it begins. That's when I have all that I've been searching for and I can now live the life that I've always wanted to live. Right? So what Mashiach did on the tree, that would have been a tree. And then you have a cross beam across the tree. What he did was that spot marked the place where now life begins. Because now I can finally live and be in communion with the Father like I've always wanted to be, because now there's not this thing separating him and me. Right? And so it would have been like this place of X marks the spot. When I see this, when I get to this place, now I know that I've arrived at that place. Does anybody have deja vu?
All the time.
Yes. Okay, so for me, I've like, it was driving me crazy for a while, so I did some research. And for me, I feel like when we spend a lot of our time on sleep, right? And there are things constantly being deposited, right? As babies dream in utero. I don't understand how that's possible when they've never seen anything. You would think that you'd have to first see something before you can dream about something, right? So my thought is that because Yah is infinite and we live within time, and time is surrounded by eternity, that there has to be a way that Yah interjects things into us in a way that we can understand to guide us, right? It's like little breadcrumbs. That's what deja vu is to me. So when you have it, you're like, oh my gosh, like what happened next though? It's like that weird moment of this body, which is in this realm, but the spirit is eternal, like trying to communicate to tell you like, keep moving in this direction. Whenever I don't have deja vu, I'm like, I need to reassess what I'm doing because something about this walk don't feel for me. But this idea though, with the Tav, it's a sign. People, why did our ancestors ask for signs? Let me know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Let me know I'm on the right path. So when we came to the Brit Kadashah, and when our ancestors came across the Messiah, they were like, hey, you must be that guy. Why? Because it fit into what had already been laid out before, ahead of time, right? So with the Tav, it is the start or the beginning, or the ending, if you will, of something, because it's cyclical. You're constantly trying to get back to that mark. It's like when you go to a track, and the track has a start line. Well, if you run the 400, you're going to end at the start line. That's how you know you've arrived. And then you start marking your journey based upon getting back to that same place. That's what the Tav is. It's the thing that tells you that you've arrived back and come around full circle, and then you can assess what happened. So just with the olive that we ended at Tav, we're right back around to olive. We go back around and back around. Okay, so that's that portion. Now let's do these words. You said you had a word?
Yes.
Okay, can I see that? Let me see the board. Thank you so much.
Emunah.
Emunah. Okay. Aleph, Mem, Vav, Nun, Hey? Okay. And I'm not just fancy and I just know how to spell stuff. I've heard that word a few times. It's like, how did you do that? I know. Oh, no.
Did you delete it?
Go back.
Yeah, I made a folder.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I got you, don't worry.
Okay. I'm like,
Cause she just knew that you were gonna mess it
She
up.
did.
That's what it was.
Aleph, I'm gonna write it like this, and I write it like I just showed you.
Mem,
Bob, Noon, Hey. Okay, so that's a ox. Why did I draw that?
ooh, you should let Erin in.
Recovery.
I'm sorry, feeling shade.
Mem,
Tippy,
Bob,
seed,
Noon.
the man holding his head.
Okay, so this is a very good first test, if you will, at using those letters. When I wrote it up there like that, for a lot of people that was like, what just happened? But but if you look below it, literally, let's go through and let's just say what those mean. Okay? So Aleph is an ox, head, strength, leader. Mem, water, motion, chaos, movement. Vav,
Add,
Secure.
yes, seed. Noon,
seed,
life,
continue,
continuance. Okay, and hey,
Reveal.
worship, toward, to be guided.
look,
Okay, so this word here is the word for faith. Okay? Literally, if you take each letter, each picture, it's going to tell you the story of what faith is. Literally, like, one, it starts with an olive. So guess what? Who's in control? Who's at the head of your faith? The strong leader. Point blank, period. What does water do? It washes you, but it's also moving. Okay? And then what is a to fasten? So then you have the ox moving you to fasten. Who is it fastening?
the seed.
The seed. So that they will what?
Continue to receive.
To
worship.
To worship or to look toward him. Yes. So literally, so then when you get to, because you always wonder how people come to the definitions of things, right? They don't tell you that it's literally in the most basic, elementary way. So then when you look at the word faith, if you look at a lexicon, it'll say faith is to be securely fastened, right? Or to believe. Well, how would I believe? Well, the word for faith is a journey, right? And a lot of us have this experience where as we have walked and moved with the ox, being yoked together with the strong ox, as I walked with him, I become fastened, right? I become fastened, and I continue to move in that direction. It's literally in the letters.
I saw it. Once I was like, oh, I see it.
Yeah, see how it's a literally. So remember back in the day, not back for us. Like remember back in the day when we used to write hieroglyphs. Not us. Remember when you were in school and they would show you like reliefs on the wall and how they would write, and the antelope jumped. They would have an antelope jumping and have a rock in it, and it would tell a story. And you'd be like, how did they see all that now?
There it is.
It's literally like exactly like this. Did you get this?
Yep, I have one there.
So just like that, how it moves and it's telling this story of what faith is. So imagine now that we know that faith is literally, it comes from a root word too, I'll give you that. The root word of faith is a word, I won't know this, sir. It's right here, minus the vav. It's amen. Right? So people always say, so we say amen ra? No, nothing amen ra. I am saying what you've said is true, and it can be securely trusted.
Right.
It's right. It's sure. It's rooted in Torah when you say it. Okay? So that's where amen comes from. It comes from that experience. So now when a person says amen, I've already gone through the experience of faith. So I can say amen to what you're saying. So when a person says, girl, well, it can be something that don't even have nothing to do with nothing biblical. When your kids come home and they just throw their stuff on the floor and you just want to smack them, you be like, oh, girls, preach, amen.
Amen.
I've had that experience. That's true. That's something that I've experienced. It's something that I've gone through. That whole thing, I know just what you're talking about. So when a person says something, you say amen. It's saying, I agree. I'm in agreement with what that is. I've been there. Right? And we use it in everything. And it's not only a church term. We only use it in church. But Hebraically, that would be a term that would have been used anywhere. Right? They would like, amen. Like, yes, surely, verily, verily.
Girl, it's hot.
Right? Yes.
One of the reasons I wanted to do this word is because it's the first word that I learned when I came on this journey, because I always said, yeah, I have faith, I have faith, I have faith. And it wasn't until I was put in a position where I really started to dive deep in Torah that I began to understand what it actually meant. I mean, I was miserable. Like, I was working at a job where I had to, like, fake it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, surrounded by people who were definitely not like me, didn't believe in anything that I believed in. And so it was just going every day saying, you know, I have faith that this is a stepping tool to get me to where you're going, you know, where I'm supposed to be going. And it was when I uncovered this word, and I was like, my life, I've been saying I had faith, but I was missing the wav in it, which was the Torah. I was not fastened to anything. I was fastened to the word of man instead of being fastened to Yahuwah. And so, like, once that missing piece was there, it was like, now I actually have it.
Amen.
Amen. So in a very basic sense, right now, we all just got what faith means.
Yes.
So now when we communicate in this space and we talk about faith, right? You can't talk about faith if it's not something you've experienced.
Right.
So it's difficult to agree with what Yah says if you haven't read his word, experienced what's in his word.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when we do that a lot where we're allowed to in our current religious systems to agree with what's said even if we haven't experienced it. And Yah's like, no. As a community, you should have a working definition based upon what you've experienced.
Right.
And you can't agree with somebody's experience if it doesn't line up with what Torah says. And that's why false prophets and false teachers were such a big thing in our culture, because you're trying to get me to experience something that's inexperienceable. It's never going to happen. You should die. Why? Because you're going to lead me on a path of trying to attach to something that is never going to happen. It's going to pull me away from the Father. Does that make sense? Okay, anybody have another one? Something else. It can be anything. It can be strength. Okay. I think it's Chazak, right? Head. Look it up for me. Make sure I'm not making up stuff.
Cove. Why? Hit.
What? Chazak?
Cough.
It's cough?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Look at
Is it the
one
same?
more time. Give me.
Cough.
No. Look it up again.
I think I have what you're saying.
So it's different.
Yeah. This is it's will be different. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So wait, why was it different?
I don't know. This was just probably I don't know why you kept by me. And it was just strong.
You got the
Because one was she's a
And you're a
Google
Google
translator.
Oh,
But and now that's the difference. Biblical Hebrew words and modern Hebrew words are different.
yes, ma'am.
They're very different. So the biblical Hebrew word for strength, like if I look at this word and you typed in strength and it came in Bible Hub, you can click it and it'll run you down all the other words that have the definition of strength in it. Hazak, het. You guys know what it is? What's a het?
Oh, a fence.
A fence, a wall, a separator. What's a zion?
Tool. Yes.
A plow, a weapon
Yeah.
to cut off. Okay, and then a kof. Sun horizon, behind. Okay,
Together.
so let's put together.
The wall that
Wait,
cuts
what's that?
down forever.
What's the actual word then?
Hazak. Oh, C-H-A-Z. C-H-A-E.
The wall that cuts.
Hazak. That's a Q at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a lazy potato chip. Hazak. Find it?
Forever?
Find it?
Yeah, I found
Oh,
it.
we
We're
have
gonna
it,
have to
yeah.
talk about this. Like, why did modern script remove itself so far from biblical script? Like, you see that? Like,
Like, why modern Hebrew remove itself so far?
yeah,
from
because
the
a lot of times we're teaching like, oh, just Google it and stuff. But obviously, you know, just in this incident,
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, we will. We can pull it out.
gotcha.
So, Hazak, right? So you said het, a wall or separation. Zion, like a cloud to cut off. Kof,
Forever.
right? Like from
Beyond.
behind, toward. So literally, strength. Let me give it to you as concrete as possible when you say abstract words. Strength is being able to deal in the right now, right? So like a strong person. I'll do it with it emotionally. Is literally a person that can cut off old. and Dylan right now, where when you work out and you're strengthening yourself, you're tearing away at the old self, the worn down self, and building up a new self,
being a new creature.
and becoming a new creation, right? So a strong man would be one that would be able to, one, contain his strength, right? So that's why it's to be able to master it, to be able to master self, to be able to master that which is the unknown parts of yourself. Have you ever heard of somebody saying like, you're the knowledge of yourself? That is the key. Most people who fail at being strong is because they first don't deal with what's within. So you have those stories of heroines and people who are like your Achilles heel. If I know what my weakness is and I can master that, then my strength is that much greater, right? Because then like I said, know what the thorn in your flesh is. So what do you got?
Like verse.
Yeah, you first mention.
Okay, Psalm 18:1 has it where, you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
To the chief musician, a psalm of Dauid, the servant of YHWH, who spake unto YHWH the words of this song in the day that YHWH delivered him from the hand of all his enemies, and from the hand of Saul. And he said, I will love thee, O YHWH, my strength. Or Kazakh.
Go finish it.
Okay. YHWH is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my Elohim, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation and my high tower. I will call upon YHWH, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from mine enemies. The sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me. In my distress I called upon YHWH and cried unto YHWH. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him even into his ears.
So literally, it's funny how when David writes something, it always becomes concrete, right? So he's seeing Yah as the one who is pretty much guarding him, right? So he's the one literally like fencing in, but then at the fence protecting it with a weapon. Like there's a stronghold, and you have somebody who's literally like reinforcing that place. Because it's the contents, like the contents of the city. A virtuous woman, the word is actually another word for strength. It's the word, literally said it and then the word just left my mind. What's the word for virtuous?
Oh,
Come on,
goodness,
it's right here.
Righteous?
No, the Hebrew word.
oh my goodness.
No, I literally, I mention it all the time.
I did a whole mosaic with that.
You did? Okay, she'll find it. It's literally the idea of guarding, protecting a place, right? Protecting a
Ishet Kaya. Ishet
Kyle.
Kaya. Yeah.
Kyle. So it literally has the cat in it as well, where it's a fence place and there's contents within it. And so you're protecting the contents within something. So to be strong is to be able to be the fence and the sword that's protecting those things beyond or within something. Right? So I looked up in here too. Being strong and firm. A wall is strong and firm. A wall is guarded. And so we don't think that being able to guard ourselves is a strength. But you should be able to be in a position to guard yourself. Why? Against the adversary. But to also, like I said, deal with that part, that unknown part of yourself. To guard that part. Because there's parts of you that you don't know yet. There are treasures in you that you haven't tapped into yet, that Yah knows. And so not just dealing with the you know right now, but the you you're going to be. And part of that strength is trusting Yah to guard that part, and for you to be in agreement and amen with him guarding that part so that you can grow and cultivate. He's trying to get you to that beyond place. But there has to be a guard there, or the adversary is coming to corrupt your beyond self. I want all of it. I want that part. So I'm going to go through the wall and through the sword and everything to get to you. So you have to be able to stand firm and resist against it. Said be courageous. What? Like to withstand. Okay. Yes. What are some communal words? I know it's easy to deal with just conceptual words, but we're talking about how we are to live out toward community. And what are some things that may come up and community and how we might have to define those things, especially in a sisterhood.
Like, that's what I was gonna say, sisterhood, or sister, like a culty, maybe.
Okay.
I like how you looked at me. Okay.
Do the colors, like, is that a modern day thing, or is that biblical?
Colors? Colors are good. Yeah. Well, I don't know about purple and pink, but I know for sure we get crimson and white and brown, and then this was like Yelahdim, and this was like, yeah, there's colors for sure. Emerald, so there's green. Yeah, definitely.
They're usually described by.
Blues, yeah. So if you look at the tabernacle and how it was built, and he said dyed this one this color and this one this one, all the colors are literally. You can find most of them literally right there in the building.
I mean,
of the
even in our
tabernacle.
fringes, that's how we get.
Right,
ribbon
the
of
border of blue, the ribbon of blue, yeah. See, what did you have?
Sisterhood.
So Koji?
No, not if they have biblical colors. Does the word blue, like, if you spell blue, would it say what it?
Would you say what it was?
Yeah, like, would blue, if you say blue, would it have like a good break meaning, or would?
If you go to, because one of my favorite verses, Exodus 35, they
Okay.
actually, let's see what it says, I guess.
Okay, so go to Exodus 35.
Exodus 35.
I wish I had a little thing so I could pull it up on here. Oh wait, I have a codex. See
Why is your Eastwood?
I'm trying to figure out, see what.
if
If you go to
Exodus 25:4.
35:23, you're gonna see, and every man with whom was found blue and purple and scarlet.
Verse
Exodus
4?
what?
23 and 4. 25
No,
and 4.
35:23.
I got the first mention.
Which app are you using?
Well, I'm using
My sword?
was it my sword? Yeah.
You said blue.
35:23. Yeah, that has a few colors in there.
Teklit is the word.
Kahol is blue.
Yeah, Teklit is actually not a blue. It is a blue. I'm sorry. It's not blue like Kahol blue. Teklit is like
Violet.
it's like a dark violet. Though. Most people go with like a purple, but it's actually like a blue violet,
It's like
like a
an
blue
indigo.
purple. It's an indigo. There you go. Indigo.
Yeah.
Like even darker, like because it would have been crushed and like whatever the thing that they made it out of, it would have been crushed and it would have been like a deep
barrier.
yeah, it would have been and obviously what happened with colors is they fade over time when you dye something, so it would have probably showed up in variation depending on who. So that's another thing I don't get into. Like, okay, it gets started off blue, we wash it a few times, and you're gonna end up somewhere in that. And how is that color made? How do we get purple? Red and blue, right? So even that shows you there is the element of both things working together.
Even when you
do a variety. So you get that falls in that color.
That's probably why I
That's
like
what I said.
purple.
I was
Yeah.
about to say too.
So for that word like to clean, it's actually
And
a
here.
thing. And I don't necessarily know if the function, if you go to Tav, you have to know what that thing was. And one of the things that we know is that whatever that color was made from, we don't know exactly what it is. They say it doesn't exist. I believe it exists. I just believe that because we're not there and we're not people looking for it, and that the people that are currently occupying the space had no previous knowledge of that space, they don't know what that thing is.
Yeah.
But they said it may have been a snail or some kind of something that you mashed up and it made that color.
Maybe like berries.
And the
Maybe like a
Wasichus
berry.
probably got rid of all of it and ruined it. They destroyed it all. They had no respect for it.
I gotta remember that word, Wasichus.
Wasichus.
No, I was talking about tabernacle.
I'll tell you. What? Yeah, I'll tell you. Okay, another one.
Well, we didn't do sister.
Oh, we didn't do sister. Okay, let's do what a sister is. So everybody knows, what do brothers call each other? Okay. So what's the sister? A coat. It's only a coat because it's the feminine version of what an aki is. You know what a brother is, you know what a sister is.
So
Right? A coat. So that's how you make something feminine.
Meaning mine.
Right.
Yeah, a coat.
Yeah, because it's not aka.
Oh, a coat is my sister.
A coat is my sister.
Oh, a coat. So,
Akot. Yeah. Akotim.
They were
No,
that's
Akotim.
I told you.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
Akotim,
Put down
right?
right Hebrew.
There's no such thing as Akotim.
Exactly. Thank you.
There's no Akotim.
Put that word out.
Akotim would be, you would be calling, he brings anybody, but you would be calling, it would be masculine.
A girl.
Yeah. That's a shim.
Okay, girl.
That's a she.
It's a she. Like how we say a dyke. Like how we say dyke.
It works like this.
My dyke.
Singular brother.
So that's.
A coach is a singular sister. Okay?
Worldwide.
I need to write it.
Yeah.
Worldwide.
Yeah, we need this worldwide.
Write that.
Seriously.
How do you spell it? A-C-H-O-T.
So this is a brother is a ak.
Yes. There it
A
is.
sister is a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then for men, plural, right? That's a really big Akim. I am at the end of a masculine word
Man.
is menses. No, brothers. Akim. For sisters, this is one of the, now it sounds different with other words. This is one of the words where it's a little extra. But for plural, feminine, if you want to say sisters, it's akayot.
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 That's what the feminine.
That's the
Plural
feminine,
ending.
feminine plural. Sisters.
Yeah.
Now, if there's sisters and brothers, men and women in
Then
a
you
room,
know.
then it's Akim.
Exactly.
So it's like that.
takes
If it's,
over. Yeah.
this would be terrible in our gender fluid
Spanish
world.
do that too
But
though. They
no
do that.
girls.
Spanish do that
Right?
too. So
Like,
that ain't
all
nothing new.
y'alls. Right? Akim is everybody.
So Akeem can be everybody.
Everybody in a space.
Akeem,
But
right.
if it's only women in a space,
Has to be.
Who the
Yeah.
plural and
Oh, yeah.
feminine? Put the M like plural and
Oh.
feminine up there or
plural,
something.
feminine,
Like up here. There.
plural, masculine.
Yeah.
So Akim could be everybody. So you can say Shalom Aleichem, right? Shalom Aleichem to everyone in this
everyone.
whole on this whole property. But if he was out there and he was saying, you know, Shalom brothers or hi brothers or hello brothers, Shalom Akim, right? If I got here, I would say Shalom Akayot,
Okay.
all you sisters, right? But as a woman, I could say Shalom, and he can say Shalom Akayot because that would be him masculine
Yeah.
to all you sisters.
Yeah.
Right? But if it's blended, it's always masculine.
Okay.
So that's why people like when it says, and the children of Israel shall wear tassels on their garments.
They think only the men.
No, it's everyone in the space. He would have been like, and men and women. When it's to the men, it's to everybody. Because he has to teach it to everybody in his house.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Unless he specifically says to the men.
Right.
You know, warrior beers. You got a point, right? But if it's children, like Yelahdim, right, is Yeled is boy. Yalda is girl, right? Yelahdim is all of you, or just the males in the space. Yaladot is all you girls in the space. See, that's a little grammar, but it does help. It does help.
Because people are in an attempt for it and
Yes,
doing it
yes.
in the wrong.
So that's why in the scripture we see the word brethren. You would,
Right.
You know,
It
that's
would be
It's
everyone.
sistering too.
Oh, is it?
Well,
Absolutely.
if it's a mixed space, unless they're at war, it's like all the men. But most of the time, it's not gonna say. Yah kind of thinks that we just kind of know. I think in a lot of things, like I'm not calling just the brethren, because this law is to who? Right? You would know if it wasn't to you if it didn't pertain to your gender.
like
That's
we
where there's
say
613, and there are some you can't do if you can't make babies or spill seed.
Yeah.
Or circumcision, if you don't have the member to do the circumcising, it don't apply to you. If you don't have a menstrual cycle, it don't apply to you. Right? Those were the things, because it wasn't necessarily always gender based. That's why there was that argument for a long time within church. Does everybody get to learn? Of course, everybody gets to learn. Like, but even in the ancient, they were like, "Oh, are women supposed to learn Torah?" They would argue all, the Jews did a
Well,
lot
how
of
would
that.
the woman know to obey and respect her? I mean, that's silly. That's right.
I would say there's a prayer that the Jews have that they pray that is part of their morning prayer. Thank God that He didn't make me a woman.
Yeah, they
What?
did have that.
Thank God He didn't make me a woman. That is so gay. Like, yeah, I didn't make you a woman because I made you a woman. Like,
To me also, like in my experience, and this is just my experience, I'm not saying that this is like the end all be all, but in my experience, it's usually the woman that catches it first, like faster. And then cause I'm always, even when it comes down to Hebrew, I picked it up super easy. And then it was like, okay, Josh, let's get together and let's teach, let me show you how it's done or how you say it or pronounce it. And so for me, in my experience, everyone that I've met on this walk, I'm like, oh, I figured it out first, and then I showed my
who's the
husband.
language to children? Who's the first teacher of the children?
The mother.
Yeah.
So if her husband gets it, and I've seen situations where this is the case, if her husband gets it and she doesn't, then what happens to the children?
And then children.
They ain't gonna get it because the mom is at home and she's teaching. If she's not reinforcing the information, if she doesn't catch it, then the whole family doesn't catch it. Yah is in the family saving business.
Yes.
So if he's going to then turn the whole thing, he's going to do it with her first because if she's resistant, it's gonna make it hard on him.
Yeah.
And he'll be in a closet reading to her somewhere, and the kids gonna have a Christmas tree in the living room because she gonna fight and be like, you know what, this is my and then they'll be pulling Christmas trees apart.
Tree on the church.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's the same.
my mom.
Oh, your mom.
My mom.
I knew I heard that story.
Yeah, my mom was for Christmas. My mom is like the beautification. I don't know. I've never heard of
Beautification
program for the church. And so she come into the truth, and she went to. It was Christmas time, so she went, pulled everything out, started hanging everything, and then she got to the Christmas trees, and she violently threw them out of the thing and threw them away in the trash can. And the pastor came back and said, you know, what happened to the trash can? So you mean to tell me that you're gonna put these Christmas tree in the house of Yah?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, since you said something. Right?
So yeah, that's what it was.
Yes. Any other ones? Community based. Let's think community. What are some things that we may disagree on?
Dinner.
Dinner. Dinner.
Cooking.
What about it?
That's the word. How would you do that? Like, is it supposed to be dinner?
No, dinner is dinner. Like, it's just a time of day. It's Erev, Archat Erev. Archat Erev. It's the meal of the evening. So dinner is cooked at night or in the evening.
Yeah.
Yes, and that would be, the funny thing is, I guess they can give you a time, right? Because if it's in the evening, then it's cooked at the mixture. Like right when the sun is going down, it's dinner at night. So most people cook around 6:30, 7, whatever time that is, depending on the season.
What about chastisement? So for children,
Is that it, wise woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, chastisement.
There's a bunch of words, so I remember doing this in school. So 87. But the root one is yasar. It's yo summit resh. So it's a hand. Summit is and then resh. Uh-oh.
They got them wavy edges.
Go ahead. You did it.
That
That's where
nose,
his ear goes.
Oh.
You should have went with what we said.
Right.
You did good,
I
friend.
love her.
Yeah, for real.
Good job, Huldah.
Thank you. So yasar. Literally, immediately you can get what is chastisement? Head.
Head.
That's
Right. You can have a little bit.
Right. Straight on your head.
That's a little bit. Like you watch it, like where's
Right.
it? Right? But literally, chastisement is physical. That's part of the chastisement, right? But but in that word, and I did it in here, it's in A Wise Woman and it's in Wisdom Bills. There's Hebrew synonyms, and I was covering this with Zachariah and Lauren the other day. Hebrew synonyms work very similar to English synonyms. If you don't know what a synonym is, it's where you have a word and you can use another word in exchange for that word that means the same thing. Yes.
Can you write chastisement on it?
Yes.
Thank you.
You see it?
And then in Hebrew, it's
Yeah, H look like an E.
Like that.
And these words are in a wise woman builds her house?
If they're in here and they're in wisdom bills, because there's like a blend, the words kind of overflow to both. So the Hebrew English synonyms give you can use a different word. So if I said earlier, what was the word I used? And I was like, dissipate.
You said it was
this headache won't go away.
Dissipate,
But
yeah.
I said this headache has not dissipated.
right.
And then I was like, that's a 3-letter word. But what I was using the same, it means the same thing, right? But it's just a fancier way of saying it. And so, but Hebrew is not so much as to say it a different way. It's a word that means the same thing, but shows you a different way of carrying it out. Because there's different forms of chastisement. Every time somebody needs to be chastised, they don't need hands put on them. It's a reality. You have different kids, different temperaments, different situations. You can chastise in a bunch of ways. You can chastise by taking things away. You can chastise by giving things like a bunch of chores. You can chastise by, so there's a few words, and I'll just read them. One is yakah, and it means to reprove, rebuke, so you can chastise with your mouth.
Yes.
Right? To admonish, so I can positively fix a negative behavior by giving you the proper behavior in that moment. There is the word kashar, which means to prepare or connect properly. So we do it with kids all the time. You did this, this is how we do this. When you do this, you do this. One of the things that has happened a lot in our relationship is like dealing with things kind of like with both of us like children. When you talk to me like that, it makes me feel like this. So if you want to tell me to da-da-da, can you ask me to do it like this? No problem. Where you connect it back properly to how it works with you. To make something, one part of chastisement is bonding. Sometimes you need to bring that child or that person that is doing that thing closer to you. There's an example with Yanis, but with the shepherd, when a sheep went wayward, the shepherd would break the sheep's leg and then carry the sheep around. So that now you're stuck with me, you're bound to me, and by being bound to me, I'm going to nurture you, and you're going to intimately pick up my scent and being close to me, and you won't stray from me because you're dependent on me. So that's another form of chastisement. No, stay right here. You can't go play right here. And as teachers, we do it. Oh, when you have a kid that's just like driving you crazy in class, that becomes your biggest helper. Can you go get this for me? Can you go do this? And it's like, oh my gosh, why did I even know? Because that's a form of chastisement. It's like, now we're going to bond, and you're going to get my expectation from me because now you're going to do everything I ask you to do. You're my little person. You sit at my desk now. You sit with me, right? Until that child develops a particular type of behavior or temperament that you want them to have. And then I can release you back out to play with the other kids and I won't have any problems with you.
That teacher's pet.
Right. Right. And the Father does it with us. Another one is to exert power and be strong.
Yeah.
Sometimes chastisement is being firm in your decision. Right? Another one is the word yagah, which means to tire or wear out. Ooh, I have some whoopings like this too. I'm gonna wear you out, right? That's a Hebrew. We say that, right? But another way is I've seen people chastise their kids through physical work.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't want to keep your room clean. You're gonna clean it like I want it to be clean. And 5 and 7-year-olds, they cry. Pick that up. Nope, that's not done. Nope, I don't like how that's done until it's done exactly the right way. I'm gonna tire you out so that you will literally embed in your mind this moment of this lesson. Right.
Hard labor.
Right. Another one is suffer or sorrow or removing. So you guys, the similar words are to take away something that they want. And then this one, yashar, to straighten, faithful to duty, tightly secure, navel cord or loosen. Sometimes you gotta cut some things off. Oh no, we're not doing this anymore. You drop that cup again, I'm not picking it up. Right? You do this again, you're not getting, you keep asking me for money. I know you have adult kids. This is the last time. sometimes cutting off and doing a little bit of this is also chastisement, but it's all to the expected end of that person or child getting into a place of growth and responsibility. Because without chastisement, you'll stay in the same space. Without removal or without punishment or without something, you'll loop. You'll continue to loop.
Forever.
Mm-hmm. Another one? We good?
Wife.
Huh?
White.
Wife? Like a wife?
Isha.
So there's a couple of words for wife.
Ima? No,
That's mom.
Isha.
So a
Isha.
wife.
Isha.
Isha.
Oh, I'm gonna write ish. Okay. Okay, you have Isha and you have the word I have kala, I think is the other one. Do I have it?
I don't think so. Maybe it
I
is.
think I have one.
But yeah, Isha in there.
Rika got the other book, so she's looking.
Is she looking? Okay. I have a wife. That one has wife and husband. Give it to me. So Isha, the root of it is an ish. A woman is just the masculine. I mean, it's funny. He's the feminine side of the man. So a ish, right, is a man, right? Yod shin, and Isha is the woman. Ish. Well, I put the extra finger on his hand. Yod shin. So they're the hand that sustains, the hand that nourishes, the hand that separates, the hand that consumes, the hand that destroys, right? And so the woman is just a feminine version of that. And the sense is she's going to be the one who's leading the children toward, literally back toward the father. Like the man gives that woman the children, and then her job is to nurture them, raise them, and then to present them back to them. So it's not, our culture's a little backwards. We're like, the mom's job is like hands-on like the whole time. Where when the children literally get weaned, especially the male children, like you take them now. Because everything they need to learn from me is done. Female children, they stay with their mother, they learn the things they need to learn. But literally, you're supposed to be raising, especially a son, in a position to where when he's old enough to walk and get in the car seat, the dad should take them and not be like, oh, now I gotta discipline them, now I gotta make them mine, now I gotta make them, no, all that stuff should have been done before and he should be able to just pick up where you left off.
Right.
They should know things, and like the girls, bye guys. I'd be like, they know how to buckle their seatbelts, they know how to tie their shoes, they know how to use the bathroom, they know the issues we had with who's gonna take the kids. They have diapers. I did that earlier. 15 months, you're gonna you're gonna be able to go. But no, you put those things in them so that when they're around, and not just their father, but anybody else, that they know how to behave themselves and to act accordingly, and they don't need just you there to be the person keeping them in line. So what was the other one? Do you have another one? Was it? I know it was Isha. And what else? Marriage.
Yeah, I think it's marriage. You done?
No, not that one. No, let me see. Oh, I just pressed it. Look at that. Oh, this is what I was looking for. Okay, this one gets really specific. But another word for woman is nakab. It's very vulgar a little bit, but it's noon, kof, bet. It's a seed. What happened?
She saw a picture.
Oh, noon, kof, bet. And literally the word literally means whole or a designated one. Literally. So that idea of like when people say there's no function and heterosexuality, no. There's a designated whole. Can't just use anyone. But use a designated one, and the woman happens to be that thing. And it's the one that literally houses the seed. There's a bet in there. There's a hole where the seed goes this beyond place, which is the womb, and that's the designated place. So that's how a man knows. So a Hebrew would never have a question about, so is it a man or is it a woman? Is it no, he's like, no, there's a designated space where all these things happen.
All the men have their hands up, that's beautiful.
Oh really? Awesome. Okay, the last one for woman is Nasha. Nasha.
You know right now.
And it's noon, shin, Okay. Seed. This is Shin. So this one's simple. It's literally to nourish the seed, right? Back toward the father. That's the purpose. You're a designated one to nourish the seed back toward the father. That is the function of the mother. Also the function of the father. Because Enosh, this is for another word for woman. Enosh, right, is the same word. It says aleph at the beginning. Right? So it would be the man, the strong one, nourishing the seed back to the father. The woman's job is to nourish seed back to the father. Literally every single word is going to have a male and a female version of it. When you're done with man and woman, man's going to have a similar function to that.
You
Yes.
got one word online, twist or like deceive.
Deceive.
I think that's big, especially in community today.
I have that one here too.
Twist or deceive. Oh, deceive.
It's funny because the one of the words is a hash, which means to dead a person. Which is what the serpent did. I like that one. Let me see. I don't have that one. Oh, it is. I do.
Yeah.
It's Nasha. Did my iPad die?
Oh, did it die? It went on.
No.
It died.
Oh no, it didn't. Okay.
Okay.
It's like it died. Okay, so deception. So how do you know that you are deceived, right? I have to know what deception is to know if I'm being deceived. So deception, the most basic word is nasha. Literally exactly what serpent did to
It has to
Shawan.
reconnect, I believe.
Oh, it's not on? Oh, just Mary Poppins. Okay. So,
Is it automatically?
it's going. Let me click stop and then do it. There we go. Back in business. Okay, Nasha. So what the serpent did to Chua is that he nashad her, and the word literally means to debit something. So he debited her truth account. He put her in debt. So it's the word for loan, debt, deception, pressing the seed, and to beguile. I wrote this out. If you're online, you have to pause and rewind. Okay, but let me show you what it looks like in a pictograph form because that's what we covered heavily today. So noon, how do they get those to debit the seed? Well, noon is the seed. Shin is to separate, and hey is toward. It's literally to lead somebody or push them or nourish them or separate them towards something else. Something else other than where they're supposed to go. So it says,
Can you write the word on there?
oh, the actual
Yeah. Or deceive. And the shot.
God made that English.
Deceive. That's one form. I'll read off the other ones. Another one is shagah or shagah, and it means to sin or to error. So if you're deceived, you're being caused to sin or to error. You're causing someone to repeat. Anytime you keep repeating the same thing over and over again, you're in a position of deception. Self-deception, you're repeating the same cycle over and over again. Yeah, doesn't pass you until you pass. Right? So if you're in a situation and you are like, am I being deceived? Are you still in the same position you were in 10, 20, 30 years ago? Maybe you're in a position of deception. A lot of people who are in church have that very issue. Yeah, right? Where you're like, why am I still in the same place? Why have I not grown? Why am I still doing the same things? I'm reading my Bible. Why? Because there's a deception going on that's keeping you blinded to what God's actually telling you to do. And He's not going to release you from that bondage. Your relational bondage is so much less to Him than your soul. I get the soul right, and a lot of people, which is kind of sad. A lot of people, the relational thing worked out one way or another once they got the soul thing right. Is this man really for me? Start walking into her and he hates you now. Well,
It worked out.
well, you gotta work yourself out. As long as I was in deception, I was walking in a circle. Right? As long as I was in church, I didn't know. I'm just gonna pray about it. Make a move, and all of a sudden you're gonna answer. This one, Kital. Debt that causes oppression. Debt that causes oppression, or to deflate, or to mock. If something is deflating you or mocking you, it's a form of deception, right? Because it's at your expense. Goes back to that root word nasha, literally to debit. You traded in real for fake. You've taken your $100 bill and gotten a counterfeit $100 bill, which means that you are literally $100 in debt. That fake $100 bill means nothing. And if you get caught with the fake $100 bill, especially in California, if it's ever happened to you, I've gone to the bank and actually got fake money out of the bank. Went to a store, tried to spend the money, and they will take the counterfeit money. It's by law that the person at the cash register has the right to take the money. So you have a $100 bill.
Wow.
Where you got a fake one, which put you $100 in debt, and they took your fake one. So now you $200 in debt. Literally. So that literally deflated, took something out of you. What Delilah did to Samson was a form of deception. It says, and Delilah said unto Samson, behold, thou hast mocked me. She said he deceived her when she was trying to take from him, and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightest be bound. How you can be bound. Judges 16:10. Literally the term for mocked being used in the place of deceived. Why? Because I'm trying to get something from you, so I will make fun of you in truth to try to get you to go back to the devil. Your own family will do that. Oh, you're over here keeping the line. You're trying to mock me back into deception. And the funny thing is, it works sometimes for people. Where that mocking will cause you to go back because you're like, okay, I'm tired of people feeling like this, and if I'm being mocked about it, I must be doing something wrong. It's not always the case.
So there were two online. Tongue as in language.
And prophet.
I like prophet. Prophet is Nabi. Yod. Or probably the root for that would be Bet Hey. Naba. We'll go with Nabi. So you heard Navim, Ketuvim, Navim, right? Prophets. It's seed. And then the concealed, the bet. I'm gonna go with the yod one. Nabi. Hand. Concretely, the word means to uncover the seed, to uncover the hidden things. That's the function of the prophet. And it's not hidden things like just hidden. It's literally the hidden things of Torah. Everything in Scripture after the first 5 books just repeats itself.
I'm laughing.
Right.
In Christianity, it has nothing.
It has nothing to do with that. They're not uncovering anything. They're making up the hidden things and trying to create self-fulfilling prophecy. Where in Torah, the prophet is supposed to look at the condition of the people within time, within the time they're in, assess it according to the word, and then tell them what they're supposed to do.
Right.
Right? That's it. They are. It's like a medical book. You're sick. This is the medical book for your condition. I'm going to look at you. Okay, you have the symptoms of hard-headedness, stiff-neckedness, and blah, blah, blah. And this is what's going to happen to you. And then this is how to correct that. And if you don't, then this is what's going to happen after that. That's literally every prophet's book. Like, Babylon is coming like a seething pot.
Not
Like,
cars and houses.
no, it has nothing to do with that. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. The prophet was
That is, what do you call it?
theft.
The word for the wicked one, witchcraft.
Like enchantment, but not
What is that
I know what you're talking about now. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, so a prophet is one who uncovers the seed. If there's a person claiming to have prophecy for you, it has to be according to Torah. They have to be looking at you and seeing what you're doing and how it fits into what's already been done. And even with the prophecy, it's not right. Literally, huh? Nakash, yes. So that is what a prophet is. A prophet is a person uncovering the seed for the seed. It's literally revealing the edible portion of the scripture and giving it to you. Taking off the hard shell so that you can receive it. The other one was
Tongue.
Oh, so is he saying speaking in tongues?
No, he was asking. He's like, so speaking in tongues is just the revealing of Torah? Question mark.
Tongue.
But this
Like
is
Lashon?
like tongue, like how you speak. like as in language.
Language.
Is that lashon, right? So you make sure, see,
But
make
then
sure
he
that's the
said,
right
but
one,
speaking in tongues.
Lamed.
That's confusing.
right? Shin. This is why Paul says, and I mentioned Paul a lot today because he is a master of Torah, right? He talks about this idea of like, if I speak and it does not edify, what does it do? Literally, the root for tongue is where he gets his definition for what he says. Lamed, to move, guide, control toward, right? Shin, eat, consume, destroy, nourish. Seed, fish, seed, activity, life. If what you're speaking does not edify or move the seed towards nourishment, right, then it doesn't matter what you say. So saying something fruitlessly or that is not going to edify, it's like, oh, this is my personal language. There is no such thing as your personal language.
Right.
It's your, you have the ability, we talked about this earlier, to command language to edify Yah's children. If what you're commanding is not edifying Yah's children, do it by yourself.
That's right.
It's very simple because the very purpose of us having a tongue or a way to speak is so that it can guide and nourish the seed. So when we do, oh, that's between me and Yah.
Yeah.
Then how is it guiding and nourishing? There is no individualism as a Hebrew. Everything you do is supposed to be edifying to someone else.
That's to justify doing what
You want to do because it makes you feel special because now you do something that I can't do. Okay, you have this special communication with Yah. Oh, I can't even share it because he says don't do it without an interpreter. Why? Because the function of speaking is so that it can edify the seed. So even if you do have a special language that only you and Yah know, you better interpret it so that we can all get it because the only reason why you have breath is so you can edify the seed.
Right. Very good.
That's all of them in there.
That's all of them? Okay. We're good then. That's all. Yes. You have what? Yes, okay, so what?
I like that.
You like that?
I like that.